Right, so if the visit has raised any concerns, or it's already decided that on every visit the person needs to be roused, we need to go to the rousing procedure. So when we're talking about the rousing procedure, it's essential you go into the room, unless the risk assessment deems that you haven't to. So it's always preferable to be able to go into the room. But the rousing procedure is going to check things like neurological function. And first off is, are they awake? Can they be woken up? So even if the person's asleep, if it's deemed necessary to rouse them, you need to wake them up, and you need to make sure that they can be fully competent in relation to looking at you, hearing you, speaking to you. Then questions. So for testing neurological function, it's the W and the H's, as in like, why are you here? Who are you? What did you do? How did you get here, etc. So who, what, why, where, when, how. Ask some questions which is going to elicit more than single word answers. We don't just want a yes or a no. We want to hear them put a few words together to show competency in the speaking. Now, if the person has any limitations or issues in relation to speech, then we need to look at how do we check neurological function in their communication. So that then should be recorded as part of their care plan about how do we establish the rousing function for this. Then responses, we're looking for verbal and physical responses from the person. So the verbal, are they communicating? Are they able to understand what we're asking or saying? Can they process it? Can they then come back with an appropriate response? So a person might come back with a response, but it's completely inappropriate. It's out of context of whatever we're doing. And rather than having the opinion that this is like, it's just them being bad-tempered or angry or trying to be funny, it might actually be it's a decline in relation to their mental health state. So we need to try and have some conversation with them and establish, why is the verbal communication going the way that it's going? But also in the physical issue, is everything okay? Example, walking, the person might be walking around or moving around, but do they move like they're drunk? Are they moving slower than normal? Are they moving faster than normal? Can they lift their arms if we ask them to do so? So we want to ensure that the responses, both verbal and physical, are compatible within that acceptable parameter of like normal. If they're outside of that parameters, then we need to ensure that a healthcare professional is making some decision in relation to this, and or we need to divert them to a healthcare professional as soon as possible. And we need to consider the upping of the risk as well. So the visits is part of it, but then either pre-arranged to rouse every time, or depending on the visit and the result from the visit, you may then need to go straight into the rousing process, which is why it's essential that anyone going on the visits has in their possession a key to get in, and also a ligature cutting device, and knows where the emergency buttons are if they need assistance, and also where the emergency equipment is for life-saving purposes. So that's our rousing procedure in less than 5 minutes.